Good morning. Welcome back to another video on math tricks. What math trick are we going to learn today? Today we are going to learn divisibility rules. This would be the most useful and most frequently used math trick in our day-to-day life. Let's see what it is. Divisibility rules. So what does divisibility rule mean? So basically, whenever we have a number before us, if we want to check whether we can divide that particular number by 2, or if that particular number is divisible by 3, or by any other number like 4, 5, 9, 10, how do we do? One way we do is, let's say that, for example, the number is 364. How do we decide, or how do we know whether that number is divisible by 2? What do we do is we try to divide it manually. So let's divide it. 2 times 1 is 2. 3 minus 2 is 1. Then I bring down the next number. Now the new dividend is 16. 2 times 8 is 16. Now my remainder is 0. I bring down 4. Now 2 times 2 is 4. The remainder is 0. Yes, 364 is divisible by 2, and it is divisible by 2 182 times, correct? So basically, in order to check if a number is divisible by another number, we technically divide it, isn't it? We divide it, and if we get a remainder of 0, then then we say it is divisible by 2. Now, instead of following this procedure, there are few tricks which will help us identify if a number is divisible by 2 or 3 or 4 and so on, using shortcuts. Now, what are those shortcuts? Let me quickly read them to you in this slide, and when we go to the next slide, I'll give you a few examples. The first one. So, how do you determine if a number is divisible by 2? Let's take the same example. We have 364. We technically divided it with 2 in order to know whether this number is divisible by 2. But just by looking at this number, we can determine whether this number is divisible by 2 or not. Check the number in the ones place. What is the number in the ones place? The number in the ones place is 4. So if the last digit is 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8, then the number is divisible by 2. So 364 is divisible by 2. So basically we can avoid the time it takes to determine whether it is divisible by 2 or not. If we really need to get an answer of what will be the quotient when we divide it by 2, we still have to go ahead and do this division. But what are we trying to avoid here is, instead of technically going ahead and dividing everything and then identifying if it is divisible by 2 or not, we can at least quickly look at it and tell if it is divisible by 2 or not. Let's do this with few examples. So here are few numbers on the screen, and I would like to see if each of these numbers are divisible by 2. So what is my simple trick for divisibility by 2? The last digit should be 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8. Let's see. The first number is 346. Okay, my last digit is 6, so it is divisible by 2. The next number is 277, and the last digit is, or the digit in the ones place is 7. 7 is not divisible by 2, so the whole number 277 is not divisible by 2. Our rule is the last digit or the digit in the ones place should be either 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8. The number in the ones place is 4, so 154 is divisible by 2. Let's take the next example, 670. 0 is in the ones place, and 0, if you have 0 in the ones place, then the whole number is divisible by 2. So 670 is divisible by 2. Now let's take the next example, 327. The number in the ones place is 7. The whole number is divisible by 2 only if the number in the ones place is 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8. But we have a 7, so this number is not divisible by 2. 56,970. Number in the ones place 0, so the whole number is divisible by 2. 6,734. The number in the ones place is divisible by is 4, so the whole number is divisible by 0. 43,599. I'll check the number in the ones place. It is 9. So 9, it doesn't fall under 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8. So this number is not divisible by 2. So isn't it the simplest way to find out whether a number is divisible by 2 or not? Just check if the number in the ones place is 0 or 2 or 4 or 6 or 8. And if it is, then the number is divisible by 2. Let's move on to the next rule. Divisibility by 3. I have few numbers here. This is a small number, this is a 3-digit number, but if you look at it, this is 35,476 and this is 2,894. So how do you determine whether these numbers are divisible by 3 or not? The divisibility rule for 3 is add the digits in the number. So if the sum of all the digits is divisible by 3, then the whole number is divisible by 3. So I'm adding all the digits in this number. So 1 plus 1 plus 1 is nothing but 3. So 3 is divisible by 3. So 111 is also divisible by 3. The next example, 762. 7 plus 6 plus 2. I need to add the sum of all the digits, which is nothing but 7 plus 6 is 13 plus 2 is 15. So because the sum of the digits in 762 is divisible by 3, so the whole number, I mean to say 762, is divisible by 3. Let's do the next number. Let's add the sum of the digits. 3 plus 5 plus 4 plus 7 plus 6. What is 3 plus 5? 8. 8 plus 4? 12. 12 plus 7? 19. 19 plus 6 is 25. Is 25 divisible by 3? No. So 35,476 is not divisible by 3. The next one, let's add the sum of the digits. 2 plus 8 plus 9 plus 4. 2 plus 8 is 10. 10 plus 9 is 19. 19 plus 4 is 23. Is 23 divisible by 3? No. So 2894 is not divisible by 3. So this is how you determine whether a number is divisible by 3 or not. Very simple and very quick, isn't it? Let's move on to the next rule. Divisibility by 4. Again, if you want to go back, there is in the beginning of the video you will find the divisibility rules for all the numbers at one place. Okay, so if you want to quickly refer, you can go back to the beginning of the video and you have the divisibility rules for all the numbers at one place. So let's move on. Here are few numbers. We'll determine whether these numbers are divisible by 4 or not. So how do we do that? If the last two numbers are divisible by 4, then the number is divisible by 4. The number here is 642 and the last two numbers make 42. So is 42 divisible by 4? How do you do it? Either you should be able to quickly tell it, or you can do the regular division. And you all know 4 times 10 is 40. So 4 times 11 is obviously 44. So 42 is not divisible by 4. So 642 is not divisible by 4. Let's check the next example. 328. The last two digits in this number is 28. 28 is divisible by 4 fourths, so 328 is divisible by 4. The next number is 2716. The last two digits is 16. Because the last two digits are divisible by 4, so 2716 is divisible by 4. The next one is 7624. The last two digits 24. You know 4 times 6 is 24. So 24 is divisible by 4. So 7624 is divisible by 4. Let's take the next number. It is 36,560. What are the last two digits? 60. And you know that 60 divided by 4 is 15. So because the last two digits are divisible by 4, 36,560 is also divisible by 4. The next number is 67,218. The last two digits 18. 4 can't divide 18. So 4 can't divide 67,218. The next number is 37,465. The last two digits is 65. And 65, when you divide it with 4, 4 times 1 is 4. And 4 times 6 is 24. You can see that there is a remainder of 1. So 65 cannot be divided with 4. So 37,465 cannot be divided by 4 or is not divisible by 4. So this number 67,218 was not divisible by 4. 37,465 as well was not divisible by 4. This is how you determine if a number is divisible by 4 using the tricks. The next one is divisibility rule by 5. This is the easiest of everything. Just check the last digit. If the last digit is 0 or 5, then the whole number is divisible by 5. The last digit is 0, so 30,640 is divisible by 5. Here the last digit is 6, so 3,756 is not divisible by 5. The last digit is 5, so 27,355 is divisible by 5. The last digit is 6,075,469. In this number, the last digit is 9. So the whole number is not divisible by 5. Here the last digit is, let me write it clearly. This is not a 6. So this is 5,000, and obviously the last digit is 0. So 5,000 is divisible by 5. Last digit is 5. 15 is divisible by 5. Last digit is 5. 175 is divisible by 5. Last digit is 7. So 2347 is not divisible by 5. Last digit is 4. 6894 is not divisible by 5. And last digit is 0, meaning 3750 is divisible by 5. So divisibility rule of 5 is last digit is either 0 or 5, then the whole number is divisible by the 5. So these are the divisibility rules for 2, 3, 4 and 5. Now let's move on to the divisibility rule for 6. How do you determine if a number is divisible by 6? It should follow both divisibility rule for 2 and divisibility rule for 3. Only then any number will be divisible by 6. For example, 374. Is this divisible by 2? Yes, because the number in the ones place is 4. Is this divisible by 3? Let's see. 3 plus 7 plus 4. 3 plus 7 is 10. 10 plus 4 is 14. It is not divisible by 3. So though it is divisible by 2, because it's not divisible by 3, so 374 is not divisible by 3. Next one, 2076. This number is obviously divisible by 2 because the ones place has 6. So divisibility by 2 is a pass. Let's see if it is divisible by 3. 2 plus 7 plus 6. 2 plus 7 is 9. 9 plus 6 is 15. 15 is divisible by 3. So it passes the divisibility rule for 3 as well. So 2076 is divisible by 6. So if it passes the divisibility rule for 2 and 3, then that means the whole number is divisible by 6. Let's take the next one, 1589. It fails the divisibility rule for 2 because the ones place doesn't have 0, 2, 4, 6 or 8. So we don't even need to check for 3, because if it fails for one of these, then it fails for 6 as well. The next one is 6743. Again, this fails the divisibility rule for 2, so you don't need to check for 3 at all. So irrespective of whether it passes the divisibility rule for 3 or not, because it already failed for 2, so this number will not be divisible by 6. So hope this video gave a good idea of how to quickly find if a number is divisible by 2, 3, 4, 5 and 6.